This guy, Flash Thompson, he probably deserved what happened. But just because you can beat him up, doesn't give you the right to. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Hey guys, yeah. So I thought I'd let you watch that little clip from the first Spider-Man movie in 2002 or 2001, whichever year that was. This time with Tobey Maguire. I thought, you know what, to get this stream going, I thought do something fun for you guys with that great line from the Spider-Man lore, with great power comes great responsibility. Right, the line usually given by Ben, Peter's uncle. So yeah, hey guys. So this is AWO Aaron will order, giving his thoughts, giving my thoughts, and possibly adding more people. And I really hate this camera. I gotta get a webcam again. I gotta get a new webcam. I'm sorry. But my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. Spoiler reviews. It's like, I'll just say this, in the non-spoiler review, there was a lot of things I was holding back, so hard holding back, because I felt like there's stuff I had to say to make people more interested in watching. You know what? Not really. I mean, there's got a lot of people interested in watching. It's just that in that my non-spoiler review, I felt like there's so much I wanted to get out. It was eating me up inside, and I wasn't planning to do the spoiler review to Monday. But I saw a lot of people starting to do spoiler reviews. I'm like, well, might as well do it. And usually I had Hawkeye episode 5 spoiler review scheduled for today. I pushed that back to Monday. So I kind of switched these streams over, right? So Hawkeye episode 5 review is going to be for Monday. That's going to lead into the season finale. And we know, if you watch Hawkeye episode 5, you know Kingpin's in it. So that'll be Monday. Season finale's Wednesday. But this is Spider-Man No Way Home. I saw it Thursday. And this is the banner. I want to show you my thumbnail. I know you saw the thumbnail, but I really like this thumbnail. A satisfying ending to a new beginning. And I'll tell you why. Why it's a great ending to the first arc, the first chapter, like the trilogy. And why it's a new beginning to a new direction for Spider-Man and MCU. Hey, DGMC, did you see the movie? Yo. Okay, guys, well. Well, guys, oh, nice. How did you like it? Before I get into this, how did you like it? So you know the spoilers. So, nice. It's like a double whammy of the same movie. It's very, yeah, you really enjoyed it. So, of the comic book movies and the comic book adaptations that came out this year, the first one was Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I was phenomenal. Black Widow, yeah, that's about right. I gave it around there too. Black Widow. We got Suicide Squad, which I like. Shang-Chi, which I liked. Venom, which I liked too. Eternals, I did like Eternals, but Eternals got mixed reviews. And then we got this movie. And I'm not gonna count the I guess the Disney Plus shows, because that's a different medium, even though it's part of the MCU. But I'm gonna say this: I think this is the best comic book movie of the year, and of 2021. I think it's the best one. Of every comic book movie I mentioned before, this is the best one. And yes, this is the most hyped up movie of 2000. I say the second half of 2021, because I think Zack Snyder's Justice League was kind of hyped up, even though that wasn't a theater, because we wanted to see Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, because the one we got in 2017, let's be honest, nobody liked that movie. Nobody, that movie was garbage. So, but then the next few months after that time passed by, Black Widow, Suicide Squad, Shang-Chi, Eternals, they had some talk, But when we got word of returning returning villains from the previous universes, from the previous adaptation of Spider-Man, and possibly of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and possibly Daredevil, Matt Murdock. Well, not Daredevil, but Matt Murdock appearing in it. That just for the past 3 or 4 months, I would say, maybe even 5 months, this was the hype up movement. I would say overall hyped up since Endgame. I think Endgame, because obviously Endgame was hyped up because it was the culmination of the end of the Infinity Saga. 10 years, 10 to 12 years of building up. Not just the Avengers, but all the other stuff in those phases. The end of Phase 3, the Avengers, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man. You got the Guardians, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Black Panther. All that led to Infinity War and Endgame, and so Endgame to me was the biggest until this movie came out. And this is quite not as packed as Endgame, of course, because I mean, basically every Marvel cinematic hero in Endgame came back, and mostly all of them were Infinity War, mostly all of them, but all of them came back in Endgame. But this definitely, I mean, 2020 was a outcry. It was not an outcry. It was an anomaly because why nothing really came out in 2020. That's because it's the beginning of the pandemic. So Tenet came out, New Mutants. I guess New Mutants is a comic book movie, but it was up and down. That movie has been in production for like 3 or 4 years. So then we got Wonder Woman 84. Well, I didn't mind it. There was a lot of issues and problems with Wonder Woman 84. And yeah, that wasn't very well received. It was very well recognized as a good movie. And then, 2021, as I mentioned, then we got this movie. And yeah, a lot of people call Tom Holland Spider-Man Iron Man Jr. And there's this, and people were gonna start. People were before this movie. Oh, he's gonna be Doctor Strange Jr. Now they were definitely wrong on that. Definitely wrong on that. Yeah. I agree. There were just some issues with that movie. And you know what? I gotta get my headset because I don't know, if people want to come on, I'll let them on. But, okay. And I gotta stop my cam because, I don't know, my headset's over here. As you see, my headset's over on my bed right now. You can't really see it. I'm kind of, just before I get back to it, I'm kind of building this Lego set. If you can see it. If you see it, you're not very well. This is, here, the Batmobile. I just got this Friday. The Batmobile Penguin Chase from the movie The Batman, where you've seen the trailer. This is the trailer from, I'm kind of building it up right now. From the DC Fandom trailer. He could go screw himself. Yeah, so before I do that, I gotta do some things. Okay, so let's start. I don't know how much. This is a 2.5-hour movie. Hey, Rhea. I know you've already been spoiled a bit, so yeah, bear with me. I'm process of inviting people. So yeah, okay. Yeah. They're allowed to come in here. So now I'm just gonna get out of this way, guys. It's very we know this. We all know this. Campia leaked this. A good mutual friend of me and DGMC's mutual friend leaked the Spider-Man, 3 Spider-Man and Daredevil stuff. And I'll say this: they're 100% in the film. 100% in the film. And it was on purpose for the Daredevil stuff. Daredevil's in the MCU, and I know I said on one of my friends' stream last night, like Daredevil was not necessarily needed for this scene because he didn't really push the movie forward all that much. You can't have any lawyer do what he said, but I understand why they put him in because they want to get people hyped up for Daredevil being the MCU, and also it's no coincidence why they had Episode 5 reveal the Kingpin and have No Way Home on the same week reveal Daredevil. Because Daredevil, Kingpin. You get the connection. It's no coincidence. But I know why they did it. We could have any lawyer, but we could have any lawyer do the thing. But I understand why they did Daredevil. I understand why. But we'll get to why that scene was in the first place, okay? So as you know, Electro, not Electro, the stupid idiot, stupid me, Mysterio from Far From Home, right? He dies. But videotapes, you know what Electro does, not Mysterio does. With his drones, he had his drones come up with copy, record what Spider-Man said and what the tech Spider-Man was using for Iron Man. There are some problems with the movie. There are, and yeah. And Mysterio, right? So we get to the first beginning of the movie. You hear the debut go Jonah Jameson's voice, and you hear the recordings of what happened with Mysterio, and everybody was looking at MJ. This right after the Mysterio stuff, right after Far From Home. You see, remember the ending where he was swinging with MJ into I think it was Times Square, and then that's when the Jonah Jameson thing came on at Times Square, Daily Bugle News. It was revealed that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is Peter Parker's Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The secret identity has been revealed, and that he killed Mysterio. Now the people still think Mysterio. Some people still think Mysterio is a hero. No, people think Mysterio is still a hero, because that's what Mysterio does. He lies. He deceives you. He's been like that in the comics. That's how he began. That's how he began his first introduced in the comics was he's a deceiver, he manipulates stuff like that. But in this, we get from the ending scene of Spider-Man, that's kind of the opening scene in this movie. Far From Home, and No Way Home. The opening scene is the ending of is Far From Home, and the people are pestering MJ, Zendaya's character, and the Spider-Man swings, grabs her, and they start swinging away, and then they're being chased and stuff. And in one scene I really like, he gets his phone out, and Ned, who is his best friend, calls him. He's like, dude, and then MJ is like to Peter Parker is like, dude, and then they swing through the subway station, and they find a place where they need to go to lay low, he suggested MJ's house. And he's like, no, we can't go there. But and he's like, your dad likes me. Not now. No, he won't like you now. So they had to go back to his aunt's. They go back to best place to go back to his aunt's house. We're in the apartment, his place where he stays. And Happy Hogan and Aunt May come home. They come back to Aunt May's place, Peter's place, right? And then Happy Hogan goes into Peter's room, and Peter's room is stripping out his Spider-Man costume. And then you see and MJ's are from, and you think Happy Hogan, oh man, they're about to get intimate with each other. But that's not the case. And then at this point, Happy Hogan and Aunt May have no clue has no clue about what's happening to Peter Parker, to Tom Holland Spider-Man. Has no clue that he's being framed for murder. Okay? Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's a lot of fan service, I agree. Blind Bile, when you were on the stream last night when I said Matt Murdock was not needed, right? That was complete fan service. I understand what they do, but they did it to coincide with Kingpin. I said if they didn't have Kingpin in episode 5, if that was not the plan of Kingpin and Hawkeye, I guarantee you Matt Murdock would not have been in this movie. That's my point. That was my point. I didn't get it in last night, but my point was if Kingpin was not going to be in Hawkeye, Matt Murdock would not have been in this movie. It was all planned. It was just planned. It was not a coincidence. And then Happy Hogan turns on the news. Happy Hogan turns on. They weren't aware, and then they found out about that, and they were being interviewed by the FBI. I know. The FBI. I think Blind Braille, you were on Max's stream. I was mostly the one talking about the story, wasn't I? Like how the story fits. I was trying to talk about the story. And look, fan service is not necessarily a bad thing, but as long as it makes sense, right? And then the FBI guy was tough, and the guy at FBI, and all of a sudden how I want to know how they got Matt Murdock and says Matt Murdock, yeah, they have no case, and that case got withdrawn, whenever thrown out. But I wonder how they got Murdock as a lawyer. Like, this Tony Stark. At the end, I think it was a little bit. But I just wondered how they got Murdock as lawyer. Like, who did Stark Industries have Matt Murdock on call as his lawyer? I'm just scared. I don't know if we're gonna ever find that out. How they got Matt Murdock. And the people who hated Spider-Man were fans of Mysterio because they still thought Mysterio was a hero and that Spider-Man killed their hero. While the case has been dropped, even though the case has been dropped, they can still think you're a killer. They still think you did this stuff. The stigma doesn't go away. It'll go away. And I like the Matt Murdock scene. When somebody threw the rock through the window to hit Tom Holland Spider-Man. Because I got obviously a fan of Mysterio. But he caught it. Matt Murdock's like, and Tom was like, Peter is like, well, how did he do that? He's like, I'm a really good lawyer. I did like that. And then, even though the case has been dropped, his life has not gone back to normal. Because stuff like that doesn't make your life go back to normal. Your life cannot go back to normal. Yeah, I know. Look back to normal. It was affecting him and his friends because he was trying to get into college. He was going to school, and he had to be escorted going to school and stuff. Yeah, I agree. He was getting escorted to school. This was still under investigation and stuff. But after that, he was still being looked at. Even though after being the case has been dropped, your life doesn't go back to normal, and that's a normal life. You still think. and he's been trying to apply for universities. He had a plan with Ned and MJ to all go to MIT. Their plan was to go to MIT and room together. I think that's kind of weird. Like, I think if they went to room together, it should be Michelle Jones and Peter and Danica. Somebody like, I mean, because it's kind of weird when you live in a dorm. I think it's awkward if you live in a dorm. This is personally, I would think, awkward to live in a dorm with your friend who has a girlfriend. If it was like in if it was like in if they yeah if I know, and I think yeah, you're right, and I think at the ending, Blind Bro, I think at the ending that's when he gets it. At the ending he gets it, and so they get rejected from MIT. Well, he gets rejected. They all get rejected from MIT. All try different university colleges. All get rejected, even though even though it was Tom Holland Spider-Man that that killed Mysterio was framed to kill Mysterio, and that case was dropped, doesn't go away, and it still affected him. And it got to a point. Yeah. It got to a point where, like, what could he do to make sure they get into university or college, right? And he went to Doctor Strange because he thought the best way was kind of like reset time to make people forget he's Spider-Man so it doesn't affect his friends, right? And Doctor Strange was like, a little reluctant, but he went for it. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. And Doctor Strange was talking about the spell that was once done. I forgot what the place was. And look, Doctor Strange was not the Sorcerer Supreme. It was wrong. The reason for that is because when Doctor Strange got blipped, was about they were caught so easily. I agree. I thought there'd be more. Was Doctor Strange was not the Sorcerer Supreme because he was blipped. Remember, he was blipped, right? Between Infinity War and Endgame. So Wong was not blipped. So it was clearly Wong was not blipped, so he became the Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, you're right. Well, Sandman the Lizard, Electro, you could have tried to calm him down and reason with him. But Sandman and the Lizard were cured. Remember that. Even though they've been cured. And Wong was against the spell. The spell. Because it's too dangerous. And what happened was, Strange ran on with it. And then Strange told him, everybody's gonna forget, and he's like keeps reminding him, and then Peter's like keeps distracting him with like with MJ, with Ned, Happy Hogan, and like 4 or 5 times, and 5 or 6 times, and that even for a guy like Strange who's so focused, that completely made him unfocused and kind of not done the spell 100% right. But Blind Braille, once they're cured, their fate might have been changed in the new universe. Maybe once they go back to the universe, Doc Ock doesn't get killed and he's a good guy. Remember Green Goblin? I do have time issues. The Green Goblin goes back to his world and he's not, or Norman Osborn is not Green Goblin anymore. I think maybe their fate has changed. It's something I think about, and a lot of people don't think about that stuff. And what happened was, and see, that's an issue. We just have to assume. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the point. I think that's the point. I'll tell you what, the MCU's direction is confusing me a lot right now. I'm just saying that. Where was I? And then, still stupid. Doctor Strange called him out. Can you just call the head of who does admissions with your phone and stuff and try to convince her? And he's like, yeah, I could have done that. And he just throws him out of the this intern sanctum. And the movie could have ended there. How's the thing? Cause his friends and family wanted to help the villains too. Before him. I mean, personally, I wouldn't have Aunt May in that condo with the villains, but the reason for her is because he doesn't believe in you shouldn't have these villains die. If you could fix them, you could fix them. And so then he finds out where on the bridge, on the highway bridge, where the head of the admissions office for, I forgot what school was it MIT? Was it MIT, that woman? Yeah. And then I was just trying to convince the head, I think it was MIT, that woman, trying to convince, I think it was a dean or, okay. And then his spider sense tingled. All of a sudden, you saw a tentacle pop up, and we got Alfred Molina's Doc Ock in the MCU. And I love the battle scene between the two. And he's like, "Hello, Peter," and he's like, "Do I know you?" He obviously saw from the trailer, and they battled it out. MIT, the woman in MIT's car was about to go into the river. And he managed to save her, and then they battled. Like, Doc Ock managed to have the upper hand at the time. Doc Ock could have beaten this Spider-Man. Yeah, I know that's true. He just knows that he thinks that Spider-Man killed him. He finds out in the third movie that his father was the Goblin. That's why after he tried to kill him, and after that fight with the black suit Spider-Man, he comes in to help Peter, Tobey Maguire's Peter at the end, because he finds out that his father died by the glider, and that's when he finds out his father was the Green Goblin. That Spider-Man didn't kill him. And I really love, and and then all of a sudden, Tom Holland's Spider-Man managed to get access of Doc Ock's tentacles, or whatever, tentacles, I'll call them tentacles. and you know how they work, right? Oh, and the second movie? Okay, yeah, okay. No. Osborn. He should have been. I don't know. Here's the thing, the multiverse. Here's the thing, guys. The multiverse is this movie, but what timelines did it take from these multiverses? Because the multiverse have their own separate timelines. Like for example, Marvel main timeline is 616 in the comics, right? But there's different timelines, a past, future, whatever, present, and stuff like that. There's another multiverse has the same thing. What timelines in the multiverse? There's timelines within a multiverse, right? There's timelines within the multiverse. That's what I don't understand about this. That's the one thing I don't understand about this movie. So he gets upper hand Doc Ock, and he takes off the mask. He's like, "You're not Peter." I'm just. See, I like how we're having a discussion about this because this movie is making us think. Yeah, yeah. All Sandman was thinking is getting back to his daughter. And so, as that was happening, all of a sudden you see the pumpkin bomb. Oh, yeah, and the woman does say that he'll try to get them in, cause for saving her life. You see the pumpkin bomb after that, and you see Green Goblin, the original Green Goblin, armor like suit costume, laugh, and Doc Ock was like, Doc Ock was like, Osborn, and then all of a sudden he got teleported into the dungeon where dungeon I think it's beneath the sanctorium, right? And locked up with, and then all of a sudden Lizard's already been locked up. Doctor Strange managed to capture Lizard, so we got Lizard and Doc Ock captured. And Doctor Strange tells Peter, and they invite his friends over, tells Peter, "This is your mess, basically your mess, and you fix it. Scooby-Doo this shit." I love MJ's like snarkiness reply to her, "Please." And he's like, "Please." So they go down to the dungeon, and they talk to Doc Ock, and Doc Ock is like, "What was that what was that guy in the glider?" They asked him. They basically say you're chasing ghosts, cause Osborn. I think that's a little bit on, but Osborn's dead. I know. I don't know at first. I don't know when to turn. I'll say this. I don't know when to turn from Norman into Goblin happened. You could say like, where do you think that turn is? Because do you think when he's at the feast, do you think that was Norman or Green Goblin pretending? Because I think. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I know. Yeah. So they make fun of his name because it's obviously look, Dr. Octopus, Otto Octavius. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Uh, that scene like how does it feel? Like that scene where how does it feel Osborn to be cured? And I think that's when the turn happened because he was battling multipersonal disorder with the synchro or what not with them. I love that scene when I love that scene in the alley with Osborn as a victim to the Green Goblin persona, and he just threw the Green Goblin helmet, cracking it open. I know. We gotta get more questions with that. And then there was told there was a huge electrical power surge somewhere in the forest, and we see Peter with one of the new suits. Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then yeah, when he says how's it feel to be cured, Osborn? No more Green Goblin, and that's when the switch happened. That's when the switch happened. And that's when he turned. Okay, and then he goes to that location, and you see the background where Peter is. And you see the background. You see Electro. And that was an amazing scene. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I have to see Amazing Spider-Man 2. Did he figure out Peter was Spidey? Well, did the Goblin figure out? I don't remember. Did Goblin figure out that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was Peter Parker? And then Electro starts to attack Peter, and then you all of a sudden see Sandman arrive, and this is where Sandman wasn't the villain. Sandman wasn't the villain because remember, my guess is Sandman was teleported in the MCU after he made amends. With Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Why else would he help this Spider-Man? Not knowing it's not Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He's like, Peter, I'm here to help. He's like, okay, and he does help. And then those two get zapped into the dungeon. So you got Lizard, Doctor Strange, not Lizard, Doctor Strange, Lizard, Doctor Octopus, Sandman, and Electro. So maybe Harry told him. I don't know. That's what his choice was. Cause you could see when he was trapped in the dungeon, he didn't fully trust. He started not to trust Tom Holland's Spider-Man because that wasn't his Spider-Man. That he made amends with, not to Topher Grace's Spider-Man. Because I think, as I said just a minute ago, when Sandman got ported into this universe, this is after Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man forgave him for killing his uncle. Electro does die. And they say, and this is where the disagreement happens with Doctor Strange and Peter. Peter says, "Oh, they're destined to die," and he was considering it, but he says, "I can't let that happen." And Doctor Strange is like, "I'm sorry, like Doctor Strange doesn't want, like, in his heart, he doesn't want these people to die, like, but he has no choice to fix the multiverse, and it's their destiny." But Peter's like, "I could change their fate. I could change their destiny. They don't have to die. Whatever." That's what I think was happening. And then they kind of had a little fight. That was an amazing fight scene. I mean, one of the best. And it's not Mephisto. It was not an evil Doctor Strange. It was just a disagreement. They're having a little fight and disagreement. And that little box that little box thing is where he has to use a spell from. Yeah. He doesn't say anything about Uncle Ben. But Peter manages to get the upper hand and has the thing. But you know what? He tells Revenge, "I'm going to fix you instead of letting your fate to die. Then you going back to the universe where your fate is death." Even though Lizard and Sandman don't die in their universe. This is true, George. This is true. It's true because I just saw a video a couple hours ago where they took Sandman from the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 and the Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, and they compared it, the two. It was just a better updated footage of them. You're right. It's 100% correct. And you see, and then all of a sudden you see Norman, Lizard gets a call, Computer gets to call that Norman Osborn's at the feast talking at May, and then you can see, I think that's Norman persona. So I can think, I don't know what's happening. Oscorp's not here. My son is not here. And then he wants to help him because Peter knows that this guy is the Green Goblin, but he sees that he's suffering too, and hopefully he can fix him too. So the plan is to take all 5 villains to Happy Hogan's condominium, where they all plan to fix him. You know, Doc Ock doesn't want to be fixed, right? They all don't want to be fixed. They really don't. Like, you could tell. I mean, Doc Ock's first, and he did fix Doc Ock. And Doc Ock was, well, essentially a good guy. And Tom Holland, Peter, and I think Norman Osborn was first to be second. And you see this little conversation. Lizard. I specifically think Osborn and Lizard secretly talk to each other about the plan, or something. I don't know. Yeah. And I love how Electro did say that the Lizard was a human at one point, but that's before. But I did think a little conversation between Sandman and Electro, how they became kind of like a similar kind of thing, right? Like accidents, Dento origin story. Max Dillon was a nobody really, but a stupid boss. And that boss, BJ Novak's character, here's a huge Easter egg. You know who he is, right? That's Alistair Smythe. That was Alistair Smythe. You know that. Alistair Smythe. A Spider Slayer. If you remember from the Spider-Man anime series, he's the one in that with Kingpin. Second in command of Kingpin. He's the one that wheelchair-like thing. And then becomes Spider Slayer later on. Yes, Ryan from The Office. I'm 100%. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm 95% sure that's Alistair Smythe. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I think that's Alistair Smythe in Amazing Spider-Man in the universe. And I love the origin story how Electro and Sandman were having a conversation about how they became to be. That's kind of a sad thing. Sad thing what happened. All the villains you could say, because as I said, all the villains here were victims. All 5 of them in their own way. And I'll get to that later on why they want to be fixed. Yeah, because look. Spider-Man's always been an empathetic character even towards his villains. He's always been an empathetic character towards his villains. Exactly. Yes. And so, and that's when it turned. Osborn turned heel, became the Green Goblin. Was like, because Peter Parker, Tom Osborn, he was starting to feel this. He started to suspect something was not right here, and that's when Osborn turned heel. Wrestling term. And then they say, "Why fix us? We don't need to be fixed." He did. We don't need to be fixed. Stuff like that. Oh, do I do a good voice there? And then you started to see Electro agreed with them. I think Sandman went along with Osborn because he saw a way that his Osborn Green Goblin's way was probably the best way to see his daughter, and he didn't trust Tom Holland's Peter Parker fully, and Lizard obviously. And then and they trashed the whole building condominium scene. It was a good scene, and Doctor Octopus is good. Electro did a, and you see Doctor Octopus fall off the building, or Octo Octavius. And then Green Goblin or Norman. Osborn was really brutal in this film, like really. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. We'll get to that. I understand. And then Osborn, and then that's what happens. Aunt May, very badly hurt. She gets up and tells her that, gives her that line, the Ben Parker line. Your power comes with great responsibility. And that when and you would think she was okay, but it turns out she's not. Green Goblin killed her. She falls, collapses, out of breath, and dies. And this is a turning point in Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think Aunt May is a death. They gave a new perspective outlook on, and made him mature even more. Cause he was and then he was kind of like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man at the little bit. He was still Spider-Man, but he wasn't connecting with the world. Like Andrew Garfield's after Gwen Stacy's death, he wasn't Spider-Man, but he wasn't out there trying to move on until later at the end of the movie when he took on Rhino. This Spider-Man was not connecting with. He wasn't talking to MJ or Ned Leeds because grieving over her, like that. What does that happens, right? He got depressed, isolated from his friends, whatever, and it's understandable. And that's one of the saddest, like. Oh, remember, Ned Leeds has that thing on the I forgot what it's called, where he could create portals like Doctor Strange again. And so they're at I think his grandmother's house, and we could open up portals out of the universes, can't we? And Ned Leeds does that, and calls out and sees a Spider-Man. He thinks it's not Tom Holland's Spider-Man. They try that. They try to get to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but it's not him. And then that Spider-Man hears his name. It's like Peter. He gets caught, and that all of a sudden walks through the portal, and they realize it's not their Spider-Man. Takes off the mask. It's Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. It's a little awkward. They're like, if you're Spider-Man, prove it. So he goes hangs on the wall with the one hand, and doesn't really prove anything. They tell him to crawl, and he crawls. And I think it's the grandmother of Nelly's like, take down the cobwebs. But Nelly's is a translator for her. He does that. And then they do another Spider-Man, and do this exact same thing. And then we get on the other side of the table, portal opens, we get Tobey Maguire Spider-Man pops through. And he looks like a much older Spider-Man. Obviously, he looks like he's been more, even though last time we saw him in 2007, he looks like he's continued being Spider-Man after that. Like, I know the actor's like in his 40s, but if you get my point, it looks like he's been doing it for a longer. Because in the Spider-Man from 2001 2007, he was just out of college and stuff. But it looks like now he's in his 30s and 40s, still being Spider-Man. And that was great. And they needed him. They needed both of them because they went through a lot of trauma in their Spider-Man careers and what Spider-Man's all about. And they needed him, and they all four of them managed to find Tom Holland, Spider-Man, the Spider Bros, and MJ and Eddie. They all go. Perhaps it'd be funny. And MJ and Nelly's all hug him and stuff. And then they got some people that want to talk to you. And then we see the both Spider-Man in the back and start talking to Tom Holland Spider-Man. They're like, they realize they understand that his Aunt May, that they all have their Aunt May, but the difference between them is that Aunt May is alive in their universes. Ben Parker's the one that died, right? Uncle Ben. Look, Garfield's a very good actor. I think, you know what? He was. I thought him. I'll say between the two Spider-Man, which they're both good. I thought Garfield's Spider-Man was still going through a lot of stuff. Was speaking more from the heart than more from the heart than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Even though Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man went through a lot, I felt his Spider-Man, there's still a lot of stuff there that was deep inside. Because look. He lost his maybe because look, Garfield lost obviously Gwen Stacy. Uncle Bench, what's his name? Sheen, the father. Shit. Martin Sheen. And look, and Dale DeHaan Green Goblin was his best friend too. Remember, the Goblin that makes Spider-Man was also his best friend. You know what, GMC? I 100% agree. And I think he could get Oscar or Golden Globes, but not for this movie. But I 100% agree with you. I think he's the best of the three. Oh, this too. Yeah, this too. Good point. Because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, they never explored his parents, obviously. Tom Holland's Spider-Man, they never explored his parents or Ben, Uncle Ben. And they all talk about how losing a loved one was Gwen Stacy for Andrew Garfield. And it was Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy for Garfield. And I guess Harry Osborn and Uncle Ben for Topher Grace. Okay, what? TikTok Boom Boom? Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna ask you what movie and he's put it down below. And then that gets Peter back in the mood how we could deal with this. They too want to fix these they too want to fix their villains. Right? They're empathetic. Spider-Man's always been an empathetic hero. If they could cure their villains, or at least try, they will do it. And Garfield's did mention that he did go dark. He did not pull his punches. And in the comics, there's a time when Spider-Man done that, but he's never gone over the edge. I know. You know why? Because he still feels that weight on him. Oh God, no. God, no. Ah! And then they come up with a plan. They all go to a lab. And with all six of them working, the three Spider-Mans, Ned, and MJ working, and Tobey Maguire's like, I think I have an anti-serum to fix Norman Osborn. And Andrew Garfield's like, I have what I take. I have the serum that can fix the lizard. And they mention all the other stuff. And I like to mention Ned leads to to not Harry Osborn. We'll lose to Harry Osborn, but I'll get to that when he talks about to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Did you have a best friend? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I did. He died in my arms. He tried to kill me. And yeah, it's true. Oh, what the fuck? I'm getting rid of this. Mods, you know what to get rid of this. If this is, I don't know if this is spam or not, or somebody. I don't think this is I don't know if this is a. No, I don't think it's a. Okay, I don't think it is. And so they need a plan where they can lure all the villains. Yeah, I don't think it's spam, so don't get rid of it. And so the best place is Statue of Liberty, obviously. And Thomas Spider-Man announces and uses Daily Bugle, Jonah Jameson, as the source where the location of Spider-Man is. So they can all lure the villains to Liberty, Statue of Liberty. And while they wait, they have to team up together because Thomas Spider-Man mentions them, you guys really never worked as a team before, which Tobey Maguire is kind of true, but I would say Gwen Stacy in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, well, she couldn't really do much. She did kind of help him. Okay. I don't think it's spam. Okay, so, and I love to talk about the Avengers stuff. It's like, the Avengers? Oh, that's great. He comes to. Yeah. And I do love the talk between Topher Grace and Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield. Well, Tom Holland Spider-Man was there. They mentioned the villains they fought. Like I thought a black goo alien, and Tom Holland Spider-Man is like, I fought a purple alien, and I've been in space. I fought him in space in here. And Garfield Spider-Man, he was still down on himself because, oh, that's cool. I want to fight an alien. I fought a guy in a rhinoceros suit, a machine like rhinoceros suit. Like, and he was talking down on himself, like he's not as cool as the others. He's lame. And Tobey Maguire Spider, no, man, you're not lame. Not at all, man. Yeah. I love it. I love how all three of them connected. Yeah, I like that. And we're gonna talk about Venom and stuff later on. Oh yeah, yes, Black Cat, Craven, Rhino, because we know Craven's happening with the actor who played Quicksilver. No, well, I can't call him Quicksilver. Pietro. Aaron Taylor Johnson is gonna play Craven. Black Cat. It was supposed to be what's her name? Felicity Jones from Amazing Spider-Man 2, and she was in Rogue One. The actress, who's the lead actress in Rogue One, that was supposed to be Felicia Hardy. It was the leader in Felicia Hardy, and I don't know. I don't think Paul Giamatti is coming back as Rhino. And so then the fight began. First we got, who was it? Who was it first? I think it was Lizard. Was it Lizard? Okay. They first got Lizard. And Lizard was awesome. Oh, we'll get to this scene. I'll talk about the scene with from the trailer, for the second trailer we're going to talk about. Lizard comes in, they're handling Lizard, and then all of a sudden Electro comes in, and then we got Sandman and Sandman. Now, Lizard is the first one to be cured and reformed. I know, is it Sandman? I think it's Sandman. I forget. Was it Sandman or Lizard? One of those two. It kind of was. And it was a good scene. And then there was a scene when Sandman, Electro, and Lizard. Remember that scene? Remember that scene in the trailer where you saw something looks like a punch the Lizard, right? And he went turned around, and you saw, was like, what? Something visible, a ghost punch the Lizard. Guess what? There's 3 other Spider-Man. It was all the other Spider-Man. They deliberately. It was obvious, and we know this is obvious. We know this. They deliberately took out those 2 Spider-Man from the trailer because that scene was all 3 Spider-Man punching all those 3 villains. So, yeah. And then so they got to the cure Lizard in. I like how Lizard, and yes, Lizard and Sandman when you see him turn back to human form, they were just scenes from the movies they were in, just the better CGI, because obviously it's been 10 years and 13 years. 13 years. 14 years since 2007. What also happened? And then Electro was having his way. And you know, Max has always been looked down upon, stuff like that. So having the ability of electricity, being greedy for power, it felt like he's finally being recognized. You see, Electro was gonna have the Electro. And you see, Doc Ock looks like he was helping Electro, but it turned out, nope. He was really there to help the Spider-Man, and he's the one that helped him cure Electro with the thing and the, whatever. And Doc Ock talking, and I loved the talk with Topher Grace of Spider-Man. Doc Ock was like, "You look good, Peter." So you too, Dr. Octavius, and I love that conversation. It's like. And you see it down and out. Max talking to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's like, and Andrew Garfield like feels empathetic for him. Is like, no, Max, I don't think you're a loser or anything like that. Yes. He's not a loser. Stuff like that. I never thought he was a loser. And then, that's where you know pops in the last one. Green Goblin with his new costume. Oh, I did like the Electro's new costume. Well, let's look. Electro, I know he doesn't have the mask on, but I did like this. He was blue, but now he isn't. He's different. I wonder. And then you got Green Goblin with the new this. I really did like this. And oh, they were going at it. And then when they finally get the glider down destroyed, and you see down, and they start fighting down down Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, and you saw Tom Holland wailing on him, holding nothing back, because all he was thinking was Aunt May's death. He wanted to kill Green Goblin. He wasn't thinking about curing the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn there. He was thinking about killing him. He was thinking about killing him, and the Spider-Mans were watching, Ned Leeds and MJ were watching, and he was, and oh yeah, and Doctor Strange is coming back. I forgot about that for the spell. He was doing a spell because he all saw the multiverses opening, and he all saw these like not clouds, but it seems like blue like lights or purple like lights of perhaps people, monsters. Trying or there were other Spider-Man, apparently there were other Spider-Man, or so my guess is there were just other Spider-Man or villains from different Spider-Man universes, not X-Men, Fantastic Four. I don't know. While he's doing that, he was waiting on him, and then that's when Toby comes in, stops. Oh, he was gonna kill him with the glider, right? He was gonna kill him with the glider, and Toby blocks and says, "Don't do it." And then Norman Osborn comes out with the blade. Stabs Toby, and I thought Toby was gonna die there. You know what? I'm alright with it. And then as that was happening, stabs Norman Osborn with the anti-serum, and that's gets rid of the Goblin persona, and you can see a regretful Norman Osborn. Yes, I know. And then it goes up to but it's not over yet because of the universe. It's the multi-universe. Goes up to Doctor Strange with the box. He says, "If he did this now, it would work, but people would still get through. It would like work only a little bit, and Peter's like, I know what I have to do. So he says his goodbyes to MJ, and that leads. He gives one big kiss, French kiss with MJ, and he says, "Make them forget about me. Make everybody forget that Peter Parker exists." And Doctor Strange is like, it's like you know he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to forget him, but he has no choice for the multiverse collapse. Collapse so he can make sure the multiverse doesn't collapse. And that's what happens. As he does a spell, everybody forgets who Peter Parker is. Every single buddy. They all know Spider-Man is every single. You see the villains we formed go back to their respected universes and whatever timelines. That's the thing I question about. And you see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield go back to their universes. And so, as I was saying, the reason they picked these 5 villains, and I'll get back to the ending, the reason they picked these 5 villains, because they're all villains that they wanted to reform. These 5 villains. Look. I'll go each by each. Norman Osborn. Scientist, businessman, owner of Oscorp, runs Oscorp. Business is not going well. He wants to save his Oscorp. Oscorp is his baby. And so the Green Goblin project, whatever it was his saving grace. And they kind of rushed it. And that turned him into the Green Goblin. And what it did was create his other persona, the Green Goblin persona. And so he became sick because of that. Sandman. Look, Sandman was already a criminal. He's pretty much accidentally shot Ben Parker and killed Ben Parker. He was a murderer, but he wasn't there to murder people. He just wanted money because while doing bad things, his heart was in the right place. You know, sometimes people do bad things with their heart in the right place. His heart in the right place. All he could think about was a treatment for his daughter. All he thinks about is treatment for his daughter. That's all he was thinking about. Okay, blind bro. Right? All he was thinking about is treatment for his daughter. And in the end of Spider-Man 3, him and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man made up. And let's get to and Dr. Octopus. That accident in Spider-Man 2. His experiment went wrong. And what happened was, fortunately, it killed his wife. That experiment killed his wife. And I think that's one of the things that and the tentacles latched onto him and kind of controlled him. He could talk to them, and they could talk to him. I think the tentacles were, I don't know if they're minor, but they kind of used it against him. And you know Spider-Man 2 because Yeah, I froze and look, man. I'm back now. I'm sorry about that, guys. Um, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Fucking computer. Um, where was it? Okay, so I was on so it says Amazing Spider-Man. Lizard. All Dr. Connors wanted to do was help people that have amputated limbs. The ability to grow back their limbs, like lizards can. That's all he wanted to do. Unfortunately, that experiment turned him into a lizard, and the lizard kind of had his mind on his own, and the lizard wanted to turn every human into a lizard. That's all Kurt Connors wanted to do was help people, because I think Kurt Connors was in the military. If I'm correct, Kurt Connors got his injury while he was in the military, right? In the army? All he wanted to do was to make sure was instead of like people were able to go back limbs. Like how some like lizards and some other reptilians, some animals can do. That's all I want to do. Electro, I feel Electro was just a guy nobody noticed that people looked down upon. Was a huge fan of Spider-Man and had nobody. Yeah. Nobody. And he was told he was going to go on a holiday. And he had his birthday, but his boss, Alistair Smart, BJ Novak, Ryan, told me he has to work. And that's when the accident happens. And he becomes consumed by power. And that one scene in downtown, I think it was Times Square. Spider-Man's there trying to calm him down. But stuff happens. He thought Spider-Man set him up. Remember that? So all five of them were victims. And this is about redeeming them. Yes, I know in the comics, you need reoccurring villains all the time. You don't necessarily need that in the movies. Not all the time. I mean, Kingpin, I don't know if he's gonna be moved. Kingpin, you don't need to redeem as a character. If he's a recurring villain, make him a recurring villain, because there's nothing redeeming about him. So that's why he did this. And the reason why Spider-Man, Peter Parker decided to have everybody forget who he is because being Spider-Man, it's kind of like Batman. It's kind of like why Batman has his identity. If he told everybody who he is, yes, it's kind of like Batman. If Batman told everybody who he is, the villains will go after him. And that's a problem of the CW verse. Almost everybody knows who like the Flash is or Arrow is. The CW verse, everybody knows who everybody is. But Batman, if he tells everybody who he is, the villains will go after him. Peter Parker in this movie realized that if everybody knows who he is, people will go after his people he cares about, his loved ones, and they'll never get a life that he wants them to have. Being Spider-Man is not just a burden on himself, but it's a burden on others too. He doesn't want that burden he doesn't want that to be on his burden to his people he's close with. He doesn't want his people to be close to get in trouble with potential villains, go after him just to get to him, and he doesn't want them to affect their life. That's why he decided, and that he had to give up something huge to make sure the multiverse closes. Yeah, I know that's true too. That's what. Blessed is Arkham-verse. So he completely erased everything. Like, he doesn't exist, really. I mean, the guy's physically there, but he doesn't he physically exists, but he doesn't exist in the world in the sense of Nobody knows who he is. He doesn't have look. Think of this is. I'm thinking logically here. He doesn't have ID because Peter Parker doesn't exist. So he doesn't have a passport, driver's license because he doesn't exist. Birth certificate, credit card, debit card, whatever you think you need to have legal ID and other stuff. A family. No, he has to make one up. He still has Aunt May. He still has Aunt. He still has Aunt May. He still has Aunt. But if Aunt May was still alive, he would say, he's not my nephew. And he could say this too. The Avengers don't know who he is anymore. He's a complete physical ghost. Because ghosts are not physical, obviously. He's a complete physical ghost. That's the burden of being Spider-Man does to you. It puts pressures on the people you care about, especially if they know your identity. And that's... I know people are going to say, in the MCU, people know who Captain America is, people know who Tony Stark is, people know who Black Widow is, Clint Barton is, stuff like that. And we're seeing it in Hawkeye. We're also seeing it in Hawkeye. Maybe, I don't know. We're seeing in Hawkeye too, of the show for Clint Barton's character. We're seeing the pressure of Clint Barton's character, what a hero means. With Maya having that list of Clint Barton's family. And the unbeliever going after. Being a hero affects everybody around you that you're close to. It's even if everybody knows your identity. And if you don't care about it, it's how that's why it is. In any like that's why Batman tries not to tell Batman is very careful about telling his identity is. And Batman's always been a person that has to really, really trust you. Has to know you first. He doesn't trust you right away. He is sacrificing his identity. He's sacrificing his identity so nobody else is close to could get hurt. Well, he doesn't. He still has an identity, but if you get my point, he's sacrificing everything so the people he's close to don't get hurt and don't get involved. And guess what? I'll say one thing. We're going to talk about the next trilogy. There's going to be a next trilogy. I don't know if Michelle Jones or Ned Leeds are going to be in it. Because obviously there's obviously going to be a next trilogy. He's in the works. He's going to get close to people again. Mary Grant Stacy, Mary Jane. He's going to get close to people. He will tell people his identity. And maybe people will remember him. Maybe somehow they'll break the spell and people will remember him. Yeah, maybe. Why not have a female Fatale as a love hate interest for Spider-Man? Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if Miles be the next trilogy. So the next trilogy, let's talk about that. So there's gonna be next trilogy. Basically, I don't think he's gonna get into University College because. And he makes up fake um SAT scores, because he never went to high school. Now nobody in high school knows who he is. He never went to high school, so he probably has to make fake grades, fake height, what's it called? STA scores. Sorry, stuff like that to get into university. And he's a clever man. He'll make up fake stuff. So it'll be like the next trilogy will be his college years, but he has to obviously fake his way in. Unless somehow something that spell of Doctor Strange happens, changes, but that could collapse the multiverse. Yeah, I agree too. And I can see next trilogy. It's like I can see, I don't know, new villains. Maybe Hobgoblin I've always been praising for. Oh well, we'll get to the ending credit scenes. Obviously, we might get that. Hobgoblin. We're not gonna get the Shocker because like he's already been used. He's more of a throwaway character. That's true. That's true. What other villains on there? What's his name? I think it's possible. I don't think it's gonna be Ned's. I don't think it should be Ned's Hobgoblin. I think it should be the original or Jason McIntyre. I don't feel Ned's Hobgoblin should fit. Well, what's the? I think it'd be what's his name? Negative Man? Is that his name? No. Not what's? Oh shit! What's? Forget his name. Mr. Negative. Is that his name? Mr. Negative. Maybe Mr. Negative? Yeah, there we go. Thank you, George. Mr. Negative? We might see Rhino, obviously. Mr. Negative? What other villains are there? I don't know, like... Let me look. Oh, if you put down some villains in the comments, guys. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, technically Scorpion is. Yeah. Well, Scorpion is in it. You're right. The Jackal, Chameleon. I got this here. Jackal, Chameleon. We know Craven's in it. Maybe the Tinker comes back. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a good list right here. I mean, we know Morbius is having his movie next week, right? Not next week. Next month. Next month. Yes. So put more in the comments if you think. But let's talk to end credit scene. Well, the end credit scene. Well, I think it kind of hurt a lot of people. It was fun, but it was kind of a Ralph Boner incident a bit. We saw that Tom Hardy's Venom was in the MCU at a bar in Mexico. And the bartender was getting annoyed with all the questions. They were asking about Spider-Man, Thanos, and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, he gets teleported back to his universe. But the symbiote did leave a piece of the symbiote in the MCU. Not a bad theory. Kingpin, you can use Kingpin in Spider-Man stuff, so not a bad idea. Yeah, that's true. But she could. Yeah, you're right. But you can still use him a villain, right? Maybe a Scorpion. Get Jonah Jameson hires him or something, and he actually becomes like a Scorpion. I don't know. But yeah, so we know that the symbiote left a piece. Now, this could mean. Oh yeah, he was right. Yeah, Lion Bell. Vulture did not tell him. He's right. But Vulture doesn't know anymore now. So Vulture doesn't know anyway. Doesn't know now anyway. So, and Venom in the Venom movie told him about. No, he didn't. He didn't. So now we could lead to. You remember, Venom did say that the symbiotes have a knowledge of the universes. Knowledge of the universes. So it's possible we are gonna get a. It's possible we might get a version of Eddie Brock in MCU, just not Tom Hardy. I think that's gonna make a lot of people upset, but it might depend on how they cast. And we might get other symbiotes that might leave the Secret War. That might have a black suit Spider-Man. Possibly Agent Venom. When you want, do you see the actor play Flash opposite as Agent Venom? Like seriously? Yeah, this is Blind, but he's right. He's right. He did not tell him. We could possibly, so it could lead to Secret Wars. I don't know, man. Blind bro, we gotta watch Morbius to figure this out. It's kind of confusing. Man, this is a good stream, long stream. So, Secret Wars, you get Black Suit Spider-Man, different symbiotes, maybe a Carnage, maybe a Venom. Venom. No, whatever his name is. The others. As a possibility. And my theory is kind of wrong on one thing, that the multiverse would not lead to the X-Men coming in. That in the movie, that the X-Men would not be appearing in, because Doctor Strange managed to close it. Well, maybe other beings managed to squeak in by. I don't know. Other from different universes managed to squeak in by. I don't know. And then we got Doctor Strange trailer 2. Yeah, me too. My theory just threw out the window, because I thought we opened the multiverse and he said they're all coming in, I thought that's gonna lead to the X-Men coming in, the mutants coming in. That's what I thought, and that would play on to Doctor Strange 2. So if you know, Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, trailer was at the end of the movie. They did not release the trailer on the social medias on YouTube. I think they will release it this week. Thank you. It is confusing. It makes me think a lot, but it is confusing. Yeah, see, DMC. In the X-Men lore, right, people are afraid of mutants because they have powers and stuff, right? I don't think that can work in the MCU, because people seen beings, not just humans, but magical beings, gods with magical powers. I don't think that could work with mutants in the MCU, because the people have already seen it. I can say it's bullshit. Back to the Future's awesome. I agree. So Doctor Strange 2. So we know Wanda's in it. We know Mordo's in it, and we know what's his name? So that creature beast. Shit. Fuck. Um, and there's been toy lines. I'm gonna bring this up. Oh, excuse me. American Chavez. That's a possibility, and there could be something at larger play, like Apocalypse or something. I don't know. They gotta redeem Apocalypse, right? They gotta redeem Apocalypse. Where's the characters list? Shit. Okay, I'll use this. I'll just use this. I'm not gonna. Man, this is a good stream, guys. I like it. I'll use this stream. Where is it? This picture. I like it a lot. Okay. Alpha Flight, not bad. So this has been released. On the top left is Doctor Strange. In the oh man, you know what? I need a bigger picture. Doctor Strange, there's Minotaur. Not a bad idea. Minotaur. I don't even American Chavez. So I don't know what the characters are. There's some, but and there's and at the ending you saw Mortal say, "I have to, you have to save you from you." Something about Doctor Strange being the enemy here. Now, look, that's a red herring. You saw Doctor Strange at the end. I don't think it's a what if Doctor Strange, but that's a red herring. Doctor Strange is not the main enemy. Somebody said in the Mad Max's channel that there's multiple variants of Doctor Strange, but I still think there's another villain at large here playing in the background. It could possibly be Nightmare. Nightmare? I do think there's another villain in here, guys. We just don't know about. Yeah. Yeah. I'll hold you to that, man. We'll see you in May. I want to see if you're wrong. I don't know, like. But let's get to some theories on some stuff. I don't know if Andrew is here, our good buddy Andrew Casali. Every time we mention Tobey Maguire, he pops up. Man, he did not like it when Matt Jarbo, our good friend Jarbo, remember Blind Bro Jarbo said he doesn't think Tobey Maguire will come back as Spider-Man, but there's a chance Andrew Garfield may come back as Spider-Man in some form or fashion. And I agree with him. I think Garfield fits in the Venomverse. The Sony verse that Venom is in. I think he's perfect for that universe. What do you think? You know what? I'll say this. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't very well received. This movie redeemed Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2. In a good way. Yeah, I don't know how it will work. Like, I'm just saying, GGMC. I think the tone fits better with Venom's universe. Young Avengers, they're setting that up. Kate Bishop, probably Miss Marvel, Tom Holland Spider-Man, and whoever else. Definitely setting up Young Avengers. And that's what yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. This is true. This is true. Um. So the multiverse thing, right? As I said, when they teleport the villains back, what place in time did they teleport back? Because multiverse is a different universe, right? It's a different universe, but like every universe, there should be time traveling in each universe. So when Doc Ock goes back to his back to the same universe that Osborn and Sandman is, what time in that universe did he go back to? He probably didn't go back to the same timeline as Osborn and Sandman's, right? Right? You know what I'm saying here? Like there's multiverses, but there has to be timelines which in the multiverse, like there is in the MCU. Mac, imagine if they do a Maximum Carnage arc. Woohoo! I would love to see that, man. Oh my god. That's possible. Yeah. The Inks. And they're probably not villains anymore, so. Yeah, it's possible. So. I'm just curious how that would affect the other characters in those universes, like Dale DeHaan's Green Goblin, Harry Osborn. I mean, like, maybe he's alive. Oh, maybe Harry Osborn is alive. Yeah, you know what? It's possible. Yeah. Uh, oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is true. Yeah. So here's what we got. Mephisto was not in this. Not WandaVision. Not everybody's gonna say Mephisto is gonna be the variant we saw at the end of the trailer, the Doctor Strange Multiverse Mess. They're all gonna say, "Oh, that's Mephisto pretending to be Doctor Strange." Guarantee you, that's the talk right now. That's Mephisto. I'm sorry. Like, look, people. Over and over again. I never believed Mephisto was gonna be WandaVision. I never did believe Mephisto was gonna be in this movie, even though some of this movie took some elements from the arc Mephisto was in, right? Especially the ending, confirms the same too for the Batman. And now they're gonna say for Doctor Strange, Multiverse Madness, they're probably gonna say that's Mephisto, the variant of Doctor Strange. I'm gonna be like, fuck no, it's not gonna be Mephisto. But I'll say this. People, I do think Mephisto will be in the MCU. And Blind Braille, I think I did see your comment yesterday on Mad Max's channel while I was looking. You think it'll be in Ghost Rider. I think it's you that said that, right? Because I agree with you. I do think the next 2 or 5 years, we will get Ghost Rider in the MCU. We will get a Marvel Cinematic version of Ghost Rider, whether it's a TV series or a movie of Ghost Rider. I'm convinced on it. I think we'll get it because we're starting to get we're going into different elements now. We're getting time travel, multiverse, supernatural. So I do think we're getting Ghost Rider, and I do think Mephisto will be in the MCU. But I don't think it's gonna be involved in Doctor Strange stuff. And people are gonna talk about it when a trailer comes out and say, "Oh, Mephisto," and then people are gonna talk, and they're talking about it now. Oh, and we're gonna have to wait till and this shit about Mephisto being in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse is not gonna stop until it's been confirmed he's not in it, but hopefully by legit people on Twitter sites, or we have to see the movie, and that's gonna be in May. 7 months from now, or 6 months from now, we have to wait a half a year, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Morbius. I want to see what it is. But the next movie I'm looking forward to the most, not Uncharted. I'll watch Uncharted, but I ain't gonna watch it in the theaters. Then you guys, I'm not watching Uncharted in the theaters. But like this guy said, my friend Blind Braille. Batman. That's the movie I'm gonna watch. Right here. Batman. I'm gonna watch it only reason because I love the Uncharted series, so I'm gonna watch it and see what it's like just because of that. But I'm not getting my hopes high for the movie either. I don't know, it could be good, but I don't know, I have to see it for myself. Yes! We need a mustache Wahlberg. Dude, you know what Mark Wahlberg did? You know he's Max Payne, right? Max Payne, right? He was Max Payne, right? He made assistant play all the way through Max Payne. Yeah, so that's how you know how non-seriously he takes this stuff. Because Scully is not like that. You think Mark Wahlberg, Scully doesn't? I know Max Payne did stuff. Max Payne does stuff. Yeah, I know. Like, in general, comic book movies do suck. And yeah, so guys, I'm gonna end it here. Good long stream, hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hours. Good stream. Thank you for joining me. So yeah, like, share, subscribe down below. Yeah. Monday, Hawkeye episode 5 stream. We'll prepare for that for the season finale on Wednesday. And I promise you, it will not be as long as this stream. Maybe 30 to 40 minutes, maybe even an hour. But yeah, so here, this is what I think.
Too sweet! Sweet! Too sweet! Too sweet!
So once again, Monday, episode 5, Hawkeye spoiler review stream. And then I don't know what else. Yeah, that's Monday. So like, share, subscribe down below. With that, AWL Aaron Water is out. Take care, guys.